We are going to be talking about the Great Divide. Now, we're also going to be talking about, like I said, Uranian, Plutonians, and why do we feel so lonely globally on this planet. However, we're just going to be focusing on Plutonians and Uranians before. If you want to know, if you're questioning whether you're a Uranian or not, you're going to have to go back into my into my library of my YouTube videos, and I talk specifically about that. If you want to understand globally why we are going through this great divide and how we created this, then read my book, 101 Answers from the Universe, which you can get at Amazon, Barnes and Noble. The Great Divide is a division, and we're already feeling that division. Is a polarized division. It's galactically and humanitarian. 10 years ago, if you were to ask me if I believed in aliens, I would have said 100% no, absolutely not. And yet, in the last 4 years, I have been following the work. I would say more than, I would say 15 years, because I did produce a show of people that had known about aliens. And so the polarization has already begun. It began in 2012. And media, news and media has a huge part in this. Although we may feel that it is a mass manipulation media, and that it contributes to psychologically diverting us into directions that's only going to support the elite or consumerism or capitalism, it also plays a very important part in this, because we need to see ourselves as a collective. And 100 years ago, 200 years ago, we only had a peripheral vision of our own locale, of our immediate surroundings. And that was a misrepresentation. And therefore, in your small area, in your small location, in your tribe, in your village, in your city, if you didn't fit in, you're kind of stuck with that, right? Unless you're going to get on your horse 150 years ago, or you were wealthy enough to have a car, you weren't going very far, right? And so you were kind of trapped in that reputation. However, we're in a global village right now. In this global village, we have an advantage of being able to realize that there's a lot of moving parts to this machine. So now we have this huge, large global perspective. And it's creating right now, in our unprecedented times, it's creating a clear divide. But this polarization is creating sort of like a twist, right? And it's a yin and yang. When you look at the yin and yang, it's creating, yin and yang is like this twist of positive and negative, feminine and masculine. And we need one, right? I've always said we need our up. There's no down without an up. There's no in without an out. There's no wet without a dry. Right? So we need this polarization. We have purposely been born into this time so that we contribute to that polarization. And it's just like the North Pole and the South Pole. It is necessary to keep the Earth on its axis. There's a magnetized, it's magnetic pull between the two. Okay, so this is necessary. I want all of you to clearly understand that shaming, blaming, and complaining about the other side isn't going to do you any good, because the other side has to exist. If it disappears, you disappear. Simple as that. If it disappears, you disappear. I know, that's like, wrap your head around that. And that was literally a download that I just received right at this moment. Okay, so I'm a master astrologer and I have a background in education in psychology and philosophy. And I've always been fascinated what makes the human being tick, what makes them who they are. I've always felt alienated. I've always felt alien. And I learned the language of human very, very quickly. So going back to polarization and the Great Divide, this is going to happen between around 2025, give or take. Okay, so we're going to lead into it at 2024. How do you know what part you play in this? Did you volunteer for this? Are you part of the energy that needs to be moved around? Or are you part of the energy that's moving the pieces around? All right. Are you the pieces of the chess on the chessboard? Or are you the two players that are moving all the pieces around? I do believe that we're not the only ones that exist on this planet. And if you study the pyramids at all, there is very easy for you to even slightly consider that we're not the only energy or entities in the universes. So therefore, as a Uranian, this is not where you frequent. Earth is not where you frequent. And what came to me today is I've always known that I was a Uranian, but I've forgotten that I'm also a Plutonian. Uranians are very much like Vulcans, if you've ever watched Star Trek or know anything about Spock. There isn't a lot of anger and frustration and jealousy and envy, though. In fact, none at all. And therefore, as humans, we're very much ruled by that. Only humans. Therefore, as a Uranian, you will feel detached. Your main lesson in this lifetime is to learn non-attachment. The download that I received today was that when we are in a place of detachment, as long as it doesn't come from anger, if you're in a place of detachment because you feel hurt or fear of being unloved, then you're in limbo. You're in between the attachment to constantly soothing our suffering, which creates a ton of desire, and non-attachment, which means you're not attached to emotions, needs, desire. You can feel them, you can own them, you can have them, you can experience them, you can have empathy, but you're not attached to it. Right? And that's not a bad place, not a bad place to be at all. So, but it is a lonely place because as a Uranian, we feel unusual. We feel that everybody's ruled by emotions and we don't know how to navigate ourselves around that. And when we have emotions, it's uncomfortable, right? So Uranians are volunteers. When you, the follow the path less traveled, you will become successful in many ways, body, mind, and soul. You will feel successful, even if you're not making it $100,000 a year. Energy. Plutonian is heavy. Okay. So Uranians will volunteer to be on Earth maybe once or maybe once in a while, right? Just to be a part of a drastic change. Whenever Earth is having a drastic shift as a Uranian, they volunteer to come in. Plutonians they're in for the long haul. They do this over and over again, many lifetimes, in order to assist soul families. And they know who they are. So we do this over and over again. And therefore, we collect a lot of karma, good and bad. That means people remember you. Souls remember you. They remember the experience they had with you. Plutonian, there's a lot of karma that follows you. People that don't like you for no reason, people that get nothing you can say, because they have a soul memory of the experiences that they had with you in very, very difficult times. Brother, your mother, your sister,